Hi, this video has been made to show you how to do a proper environment check when using the Respondus Lockdown browser. There are a number of different things you'll need to do. The first thing you'll be asked to do is to show your ID, and we really do need to see your ID. It should show your name, it should have a picture. It could be a school ID from Pima like mine, or you could use your driver's license, but it has to be a picture ID issued from our college or from the state. Okay, once you've done that, when you show it, make sure to hold it up long enough for me to be able to see it, or your instructor to be able to see it, so that we can verify the picture is you and the name is yours. Okay, after that, you'll be asked to do a room sweep to check to make sure everything is kosher. Nobody's in the room with you. You don't have any resources on your desk that could help you. No devices are right nearby. And another part of that is that I can see you while you're taking your test. And so what I mean by that is there's enough light. So make sure you have an overhead light, or if you don't have an overhead light in your room, that you have plenty of lamps that are on, giving you light so that I can see, or your instructor can see. So I'm going to take you on a quick little perusal of my environment. I have my test sheets here, and this is kind of hard to do. All right. So I've got my sheets here. I'm just going to pull them aside to show that they are blank. And then this last one actually does have writing on it. And I'm just pretending that that is my formula sheet. And it's not, but you may or may not have a formula sheet for your class. That's something that your instructor will give you instructions on, okay? For my classes, I do have a formula sheet, and my students should only be using that, not something else. And I do want to see the formula sheet to see that nothing else has been added to it, to give you an unfair advantage over your classmates. Okay, so that was the one part of the environment check. Another part is to really show me your desk and what's going on in your desk. So I'll do that. I have a monitor on my desk, and it is not attached to a computer. In fact, here's the cable for it. It attaches to the laptop that's in my hands. And the monitor is off. It will remain off. The keyboard will remain pushed away. The mouse will remain pushed away. I will not use it. And the way I'm going to set up my computer later will confirm that I'm not using it. I do have a bunch of stuff over there. And honestly, there's a calculus book over there too. And normally that would be a questionable item. But again, I'm going to show you how I want you to set up to take your test, and so it will kind of clear things up. But if you have the ability to remove things like this from your desk, then please do it, okay? There's nothing else really over here that could be taken to be a bad thing. Oh, one thing, I put my phone right over here, right in front of the abacus, okay? But I'm also just showing you, sweep, there's my cat. That's the only person in here. Oh, she's not a person. Only being in here with me. There's really nothing in here that could help me on a test. I have a curtain of geography. That's about it. I can show you underneath my desk. I have had people do this. And oh, wow, there's a calculus book down there. It looks like I'm hiding calculus books in my room. Don't do that, okay? If you have books that are math books that pertain to your class, then they should be removed from the area where you're going to test, okay? Now, let's see. That's my testing space. I've shown you where I'm going to work. There's nobody in here. I've shown you my ID. My lighting is really good. I've shown you where my phone is. The last thing is, well, that's the environment check. That's really done. So the next thing that I want to go over is, how do you set up to take a test? And here's how we do it. I'm sliding my computer over. My computer does not have a bendable monitor because it's a Surface Pro. So I actually have, and I'll just show it to you really quick. I've been creative. I have this little box, and it's my computer stand. So I use it to hold up my computer at different angles that don't work for my computer normally. And that kind of allows me to use it creatively. So I I'm getting ready to take my test. You can see my entire space where I'm working. You can see my head, you can see my hands. So the way I did that is I moved my computer away from me. Okay, and I realize your desks may be smaller than mine. That is highly likely. So there are other options. You could get a stack of boxes or some sort of makeshift table that you set your laptop on. It could be that it's actually that you have a desktop and you don't have the ability to move it so much. But typically with a monitor, you can push a monitor back, you can turn it, you can kind of move it to the side, you can be on one side, it can be on the other. The idea is you're going to do your best to show your hands. Now, my computer does work to give me a good view of my hands, and I can't actually make it give me a bad view where you can only see my hands and not my face. But I know for some people's computers, it's like either the hands or the face. Well, I would rather see the hands in the papers and know where your hands are. Um, and if you've done a good environment check, then I'll know if you're looking at something suspicious, and I'll probably call you out on it, or your teacher will call you out on it. Okay. But for now, the way things are, you can easily see me reach over, grab a pen. You can see me writing my test out. And, so some of you may be thinking now, well, my computer's to the side. How am I supposed to take my test, right? Well, your tests are built into D2L. And for my students, I do not require them to type anything into the test because, well, it can be very tedious to have to try to type math while you're taking a test. Like, I'd rather that you focus on just taking your test and showing all your steps, showing all your work, making sure that every step makes sense and that you're not skipping things, you're not making your calculator do the work for you. When I grade, I don't really care what's entered into D2L. I care about the work that's presented in the papers. Okay, so if your instructor hasn't made that clear, then ask them what their preference is. You need to know. But for my class, you do not need to enter anything. All you need to do is scroll through the test to see the questions and work on the questions on your paper. So there's no need for you to have to be able to reach over and type in. Okay. Let's see. I think that might be about it. If you have any questions about the environment check, about how to set up your computer or your particular situation, if you're my student, email me or call me or post in the discussion board. If you're somebody else's student, then reach out to your instructor. If they've given you a phone number, call it. If they've given you an email address, which they should have, email them or post in your discussion board. But don't let your questions go unanswered. You really need to make sure that you've got this down pat. Okay, now you're going to go take the practice quiz for the Respondus Lockdown browser, and some of the questions may seem simple and they're not meant to be hard at all. The point of it is to practice your environment check, practice your ID check, practice submitting your assignment online, and scanning in your papers. Okay, so I guess that would be the last part of this, is just to remind you that when you finish an exam, you're done writing everything up, you're going to submit your test. And what will happen when you submit your test is you're no longer going to be recorded. Okay, that means you need to get your paper sent to me ASAP. You've got 20 minutes. Okay, so you should practice this. Figure out how you're going to scan your work. Okay, your work should be scanned in and submitted in the assignment folder as one document. It can be 30 pages long, that's fine, but it's one document. Do not send 15 JPEGs, okay? It's so important that you make it one document, because if an instructor has 5 classes with 30 students in each class, that's 150 students submitting documents that are all separate items. It's really hard on us. So please, one document. I post instructions in an announcement on D2L that go over how to scan using your phone if you don't have a scanner. I don't have a scanner. I wouldn't be able to scan anything in. I just use my phone to do it. So If you don't have a scanner, don't worry. There are instructions for using an iPhone or an Android. And if your instructor has not posted those instructions, there's always Google. You can always Google and say, how do I scan using my, and then name the phone that you have. And I'm sure that you're going to get a ton of hits and you'll get the instructions that you need. Okay. And so once you've got things scanned to that single PDF, go ahead and submit it in the assignment folder. What I'm going to check as an instructor is that the time that you submitted your exam in D2L and the time that you uploaded your assignment in the assignment folder in D2L. And I want to make sure that not so much time has passed by. Really, it should be within 20 minutes. So again, practice it. If you've never had to do this before, practice it so that you're sure you can get it done in a timely manner, okay? And again, if you have any questions, reach out, let me know, or let your instructor know.